Wow.
And the only one now I think is, I forget his name. He surpassed Biaggi on the highest decorated police officer. But Biaggi was the second in the world to an English Bobby. So, you know, it's about your stamina, and it's about understanding and respecting your abilities and the things you need to do for those that you serve. And those two men were two of the greatest men I ever worked for.
So tell me, what's buried at Exit 1 in Nashua?
Exit 1 in Nashua is a toll tunnel. And the reason that you go through a toll booth at 5 or 25 miles an hour is so the worker can walk across. That shouldn't be, because the worker is supposed to go underground through the tunnel so you don't get involved with the traffic. So they were going to put a toll plaza at Exit 1 in Nashua, and it's still there, but there was an opposition from Massachusetts, thankfully, Massachusetts, thank you, and they put a stop on it. So if you put one there, we'll put one on the other side in Massachusetts. So that's part of the argument, and I'm sure there's other stories as well. So they filled up the tunnel and just left it buried. So all that money is buried underground.
And they were supposed to put one at Exit 2 when they built it, and they didn't.
Right.
So, and then we couldn't put one at on the new bridge to get to the airport Act, because we took federal money.
Well, good point. But the Everett Turnpike still gets federal money. People don't know that. I worked for DOT. And those are the things that need to be cleaned up. And federal money means interstate highways, which are military highways, by Eisenhower, that we can land an aircraft on the highway. And if you're ever on an interstate highway, it doesn't matter which one. I don't know how Hawaii has an interstate. I don't know what other state it connects with. But that's where the game gets played. And an aircraft has to land on that highway. It has to be 1 mile straight, no bridges or underpasses. That's to land troops in case of attack in this country. Under President Clinton, he said you can keep the toll booths and help your state agencies with it. He was wrong. You shouldn't do that. The toll plazas are supposed to be off all interstate highways, probably in the 80s or 90s, and that's it. So where's all this money going, and we're still short? So it shouldn't be done. And then let's talk about 93. Interstate 93, we have a bus service. I just used it yesterday. All the places where the buses go, you got to go zigzagging around. Nothing in these terminals is done properly. It should be that the bus has easy access and can get back on the highway properly, less traffic lights. People sitting in the bus don't have to go like this when they're making turns. It's ridiculous. If you go, and I'll pick on New York again, if you're in Philadelphia and you're coming to Port Authority bus terminal, they have express lanes for the buses only. And that's what they should be doing on 93. The construction of 93, they said they didn't have the money. Last election, when there was a gubernatorial primary, they made statements, and they said that they wanted to put a toll plaza in Salem to pay for the road. You said it, federal road. Why do we need a toll plaza? Now they're getting federal monies from Senator Jeanine and from Senator Ayotte to build the road. That's federal money. We shouldn't be involved. Some of it state money has to go into. But the problem is when they say they don't have the money, we have to step back and say, okay, I just filled my car or pickup truck with gas or motorcycle. I paid excise tax, state tax, all this federal tax. I buy tires, there's a tax on that. Trucking, commercial vehicles pay a ton per mile tax, whether they're on a toll road or not. Where's the money going? It got separated and went into other departments. So that's the big issue. And the turnpike, I work for Bureau of Turnpikes. The turnpike money stays with the turnpike, and then what's left goes in the general fund. All your, we call them sheds, DOT sheds, come under DOT. Even though we get a check from Bureau of Turnpikes, that money, they get federal money. Those are state trucks, not Bureau of Turnpike trucks. So that's where the game is played, and that's what needs to be stopped. I would take all the tolls off. You really don't need them. If you want to put the one up in Hooksett, maybe 95 is an interstate highway, shouldn't be there. And those are the games that are played politically. And now, when Governor Benson was governor, he wanted to have it that you go through and you didn't have to pay,
Yeah.
you only pay one way. And they all mocked him. Now, they have a center lane that you have easy pass can go through. When I worked for the state, I told them, why don't you do Pike Pass like in Oklahoma? I drove a tractor trailer, speed limit was 75, and that would click it, and they got paid automatically.
Yeah, that's in California too.
Yeah, and it needs to be done. And the other thing I don't like, and that's why maybe transportation could be good, is we have 2 weigh stations on I-93 that tractor trailers and commercial vehicles go in to be weighed. Arizona and New Mexico, you don't have to unless you have an indicator in your vehicle. And it's either green, red, or caution. Red means you got to pull in. Caution means slow down, they're checking you. Green means you can pass it. They can weigh you on the highway. Right while you're driving through, they know. Everything is identified. If you go to traffic lights and you see a little square like in the ground, that picks up all the electronics from your vehicle. Whether it's a truck, a car, a motorcycle, they know where you are. They can tell from the 10th floor of any building where you are in any state. So those are some of the things that are done. But the problem with the tolls is the money is being used for other things. And if we took the tolls off the Everett Turnpike, which I don't think we need to, and the Spalding Turnpike is a 2-lane road, why do we have a toll booth on that? I mean, we're going to put one on 102 too? And I would look at also getting rid of all these, how would you say it, dumb little traffic circles like they have in Bosquen, going up to the cemetery. The one on 101, it's a state highway and you got to slow down to 5 miles an hour. And being I drove tractor trailers and buses and stuff, a bus or a tractor trailer can't make that turn. They have to go over and the trailing wheels of the trailer will hit the concrete. Eventually it's going to crack. And instead of putting a traffic light there, and I think I would look at, let's get 101 that people can go from the seacoast. Once they come into Manchester, it's very nice, but let's get the road straight across into Keene and eliminate going through little towns and everything else, and that has to be done.
How would we get the money though?
There's federal money. The federal money is there and the state money is there. It's got to be that it's not taken out of one group and put in another group. And what you were talking about with budgets on your last committee, you got to know where the money's hidden. Anybody worked on a budget knows there's money hidden somewhere. So if they don't have this, they take it out of this and put it here.
Well, the feds just seem to be getting all the money from China, and that's a problem too.
Well,
yeah.
The feds do lots of strange things.
Yeah.
I just came up on Amtrak. They don't even wash the engine. The engine is filthy. It just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Let's have some maintenance people. Let's make sure the equipment is proper. Amtrak has changed to a good service in the Northeast Corridor. And again, when I saw another office, I wanted to bring high-speed rail in. I would not take a train from here to Boston to go to Washington. I would take the train from here, maybe Londonderry 5, have a rail service come in, overhead or something, that it's done properly, eliminate crossings and all the nonsense, and just go through maybe Springfield and into Hartford, Connecticut, and then down. So there's a way to do things, and when they talk about high-speed rail, it costs the taxpayers money. Abraham Lincoln did it, and he won the Civil War because of the railroad. The country was built because of the railroad. And yes, they got some freebies, but then they pay tax for every mile of rail. If they got 2 rails or 2 trains going down 2 different tracks, that's double tax. 3, it's 3 times, 4 times. So there's tax money. So the money does come back in. So people need to, and you know as a state rep, you need to see the intent and understand exactly what's said and understand what's going on.
I'm sure that's another one of those bills that will show up again. There's some bills that come back every year.
Oh yeah, well some people just have to do it and they're wrong. I would think that if the bill didn't pass in the first 2 terms, leave it alone for 5 years. Let people see and see what has to be done. And I think that's good. And talking about high-speed rail, you lived in California. They have this new rail service they want to have out of, I think, somewheres around, what is it, Bernalino County or something, Bernalino. up into
San
Vegas.
Bernardino?
Yeah, up into Vegas. Why? You got to go through all the traffic to get there, then to go up. They want another one from Tampa to Orlando. Why? We can put high-speed rail from Boston to Londonderry and maybe up to Concord, to the state capital, and people can come here and get jobs or come here without being in traffic jams. And the buses are loaded, I got to say. Boston Express, lots of people use them. So they don't go to work all stressed out, being cut off by people at 80, 90 miles an hour. So there's some good things. So high-speed rail, put it here. We can use it.
Yeah, I remember that bill. I think that there was testimony that not enough people were going to use it.
That's the fabrication. If you have it, you use it. If you don't have it, just look at your highways. How much traffic is on I-93 going to and from Boston? It's loaded. It's bumper to bumper. So it would work. The buses go, it would work.
So is that a bill you want to sponsor?
Well, I'll see. You know, I just want to look out what's best for the people in my district in the beginning. Homeless veterans, homeless people, people on disability retirements that can't survive, and the rents go up, the phone bills go up, the internet service goes up. It's like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's just, my best interest is the people in the district.
And you're in a primary.
And I'm in a primary, yes. Every time I ran in Londonderry, I was always in a primary. So I came through pretty strong, and that's good. And people, you know, they can look at my record. I think it's a 97% record, the highest. And I'm proud of what I did. And the only 2 times I missed it was when my mother was dying. I was talking to 2 people, and they said, "You need to leave, go be with your mother." I said, "Well, she's out cold, but, you know." So she died 2 days later. So I missed like 3 votes. And then one time in the next session, I got up to get a drink of water because they were flabbergasting too long, and then they locked the doors, wouldn't let us back in. So those are the only votes I actually missed. And I got to tell you, if people want to learn about the system in our great country, talk to the 4th graders. They are smart. And when the 4th graders from Londonderry come up, they know their government and their pride.
They are fun.
They are good.
I went up a couple of the field trips. I went and talked to the kids. Actually, there were 4. I think I went to 4 of them. How many seats are there in Londonderry?
We were 9 because we had
Auburn.
Now we have 7. It's just Londonderry.
All right. So Al Baldessaro, who's my current producer for this show, Dan Tamburello, Sherm Packard, they're all, those are the ones that come off the top of my head. They're all incumbents, and they're all running again, I believe?
Yes, all the incumbents are running again.
So Karen Hutchinson and Betsy McKinney?
Yep.
Right. And
Bob Introne, and the chiropractor, I can't think of his name.
David Lundgren.
David.
He's on my committee too.
Yeah.
Yes. He asked me how I was doing one day. He said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm subluxated." See, that's Cairo language, so he knew what I was talking about.
Oh, that's good.
That's a big word.
And I think the important thing is, everybody talks about the economy and jobs. I look at it, yes, you're right, but, and I'll give you a quick story from the people I deal with, because even though I'm not in office, I still meet with people and get to talk to them. And without telling them I was a rep or anything else, just as frank. And the problem is we need to bring, the word is not jobs, industry back to the United States. I'd rather have a smokestack here blowing it to a foreign country than have their smokestack blowing here that we get sick. And with all the technical stuff we do and modernization, we can limit lots of the problems and hazards on work sites. So it can be done here. Matter of fact, I'm into model trains, and Lionel is making a president's set, and it's made in the USA, and it's like, whoa, some American pride. So now we can do it. And I'm not for a global economy either. But coming on Amtrak through Connecticut, New York, and up through you see all these old mills, they're all falling apart. That was industry.